In 2007, you reached your first final with Argentina but were beaten 3-0 by Brazil. You were only 20 years old that year. You still had plenty of time. In 2014, you reached the World Cup final and came within touching distance of winning the biggest prize in football. But once again, luck was not on your side. In 2015, you were the only one to convert your spot kick into final. But at least, you still had Barcelona's treble to comfort you partially. In 2016, you missed your penalty. It was also the first time I witnessed your tears in front of the cameras. You then decided to quit the national team but returned shortly to bring a country into the 2018 World Cup. But this time, you are no longer the runners-up. You are the champion. You are the champions of South America. Hello everyone, Mr. Yi here, and today we're going to take a look at Argentina's 1-0 victory against Brazil in the Copa America final. Prior to the game, I thought Scaloni would stick to his 4-3-3 switch 4-4-2 tactical setup by keeping Nicolas Gonzalez in the starting lineup. The Fiorentina man will alternate between an inside forward, winger, and a left midfielder for around 60 minutes. Then, he will be substituted by a fresh Angel Di Maria to further pressurize the opposition. Instead, he opted to start the Paris Saint-Germain midfielder to aim for the quick opener, and it turned out to be a match-winning move. A second surprise to me was Leandro Paredes. Due to Neymar's presence, I personally prefer Guido Rodriguez as a stronger defensive frontier for our centre-backs. More importantly, the Real Betis man can allow Rodrigo de Paul to worry less about our defense. Let's not forget once again de Paul was actually the top goal scorer and playmaker for Udinese last season. With the national team, he instead serves as a box-to-box midfielder. The former Udinese number 10 was an absolute monster in this game, as he contributed 4 tackles, 1 interception, 1 key pass, and of course, the beautiful assist to Angel Di Maria. But of course, Paredes' game also played admirably, perhaps realizing this is the final. The Paris Saint-Germain midfielder also contributed 1 interception, 3 tackles, and 5 successful ground duels. In my previous video, I stated my opinion of how Argentina should not be considered as the favorites against Brazil. An important reason for this is Brazil, in my opinion, is one level above every other team in South America, maybe even including Argentina. And that was based on their performances in the World Cup qualification and their road to the final. In addition, Argentina will often lose the initiative for a 30-minute period after going ahead, which can be extremely dangerous against a very mature Brazilian team. But this was greatly compensated by Angel Di Maria. Statistically, his performance wasn't great, but his presence was enough to prevent Brazil from committing too many men over the halfway line. Argentina continued their usual strategy of high pressing and 4-4-2 formation when defending. Both teams fought aggressively for every 50-50 ball, but unlike Argentina, Brazil didn't press Argentina too much when Argentina are in possession. And they paid the ultimate price in the 22nd minute when Rodrigo de Paul found Di Maria with a sublime long pass. And just like how he did so 13 years ago in Beijing, Di Maria lofts the ball over the keeper to score the match winner. Brazil, on the other hand, didn't create any big opportunities in the first half. Their best opportunity came in the 13th minute when Richarlison nodded the ball down for Neymar inside the penalty area. But the attempt was blocked by Romero. Seeing the lack of threat in the first half, Tite brought in Roberto Firmino, who successfully increased their momentum. Argentina also refrained from holding back completely to preserve their lead. Di Maria was once again able to unleash a shot with his left foot in the 50th minute, but it was blocked by Thiago Silva. Richarlison looked to have scored the equalizer in the 52nd minute, but luckily for Argentina, the Everton man was slightly offside when he received the pass, but it was more than enough for some of us to request for a heart surgeon. Argentina's response was to use persistent fouling to disrupt Brazil's rhythm, which successfully frustrated many of the Brazilian players. Out of the 8 bookings given, 6 of them were issued in the second half, with 4 of them being Argentinian. Scaloni responded to this by making gradual substitutions towards those players that were already cautioned. Tite also continued to bring on more subs for the equalizer, but the Brazilians just couldn't get through an impenetrable Emiliano Martinez. In the final minutes, Messi could have finished the game once and for all after receiving a great pass from de Paul. But to everyone's surprise, Messi wasn't able to capitalize on this golden opportunity, most likely due to his fatigue and hamstring injury. Regardless, it didn't prevent Argentina from being crowned the champions of South America for the first time since 1993. This is a victory that will be written into Argentina's history book forever. It ended Argentina's 28-year trophy drought with a victory at their eternal rival's most prized stadium, the Maracanã. To Lionel Scaloni, this trophy will be the brightest achievement on his resume should he seek a job elsewhere. Who would have thought a battered and disjointed Argentina team could rise to the champions of South America in a mere 3-year period? But they didn't. And let's be honest, all of this can be foreshadowed since the previous Copa America, when they lost 2-0 to Brazil in the semifinals. Scaloni was able to guide one of the weakest Argentinian squads in history to combat a much more mature Brazilian team that was playing on home soil until the final minutes. Under his regime, Argentina became a formidable squad that can count on anyone to impact the game. A successful team never relies on just one person to achieve success. Maradona himself also needed Jorge Burruchaga and Claudio Canizia to help him reach the World Cup final. It's perfectly fine to task great players with a big responsibility, but you cannot rely on them completely, because this is football. Of course, every player who played on the pitch also deserves a big round of applause, especially our back line, who worked tirelessly to defend our lead after Di Maria's goal. Nicolas Otamendi, despite being frequently criticized for his quick temper and unnecessary mistakes, contributed 2 clearances, 2 blocked shots, 3 interceptions, and 4 tackles. Whilst Montiel, who carried on even with a bleeding ankle, contributed an astounding 5 clearances, 7 tackles, and 1 blocked shot. To the likes of Romero, DePaul, Lo Celso, and Gonzalez, as long as they maintain a good level of professionalism, they will continue to play an important part in Argentina's future. To Messi, Di Maria, Aguero, and Otamendi, they finally have a trophy to celebrate with for their generation. To a certain extent, this trophy also belongs to the likes of Sergio Romero, Pablo Zabaleta, and Javier Mascherano, who all gave beyond their very best to help Argentina win an international trophy but fell short to a little bit of luck. With the Copa America in hand, Argentina's focus will turn back to the World Cup qualifiers in September. Under Lionel Scaloni, Argentina will continue to remain a formidable foe to any opponent who has to face them. Hopefully, the AFA can organize some friendlies with some top teams in Europe, such as Spain and Italy. This can help Scaloni realize which areas should he focus on improving. There's just so much to talk about after this amazing journey, and I'm sure this victory will be a moment that all Argentina fans will cherish for a very long time. So please leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to respond and improve myself. Thank you for watching.
I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show